Hello, welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack, and this is your latest Manchester United news, the latest episode of the United Community Podcast. And we have had our transfer deadline day. It's done and dusted. The transfer window is closed. No more deals are allowed. Just to start off, it's great to see Liverpool actually missing out on Gahey. So I think we'll start there. But as always, we've got Chris and Oisin with us. And as always, guys, I want to know your thoughts as well. We're going to be rating Manchester United's transfer window, players in, players out, how good Ineos have done. We're going to talk as well, of course, about the game on Saturday. We haven't spoken with each other since then. And we're going to talk a little bit about Ruben Amorim and, you know, maybe his press conferences and how he's coming across and is he handling the pressure well. But as always, guys, smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and get your comments in. I want to know what you guys think in the live chat as always. But we're going to start, of course, with the transfer window. It's come to a close. Manchester United have got some business done late, it may be said. We've got 4 players in. I'm still counting Diego Leon, I suppose. Technically 4 players in this window. And we've got, again, quite a significant number of players out. Oisin, I'll start with you first tonight. Give me your overall thoughts on the transfer window, ins, outs. Are you happy? Or, you know, do you think we should have done more?
Well, are we sure that Lemens and Sancho's deal sheets gone through? Have they definitely gone ahead? They have till 9 o'clock to get those deal sheets done. Have they been done?
I haven't heard anything suggesting, you know, otherwise.
His medical's already done.
Yeah, his medical and all was done.
They didn't sign him before the deadline, so to put a deal sheet through to the Premier League, and he gave it extra 2 hours kind of.
Let's go on the idea that they're both done.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, I will say, and look, we know how critical I was of Ineos through the transfer window and their handling and stuff. But I would give them a B plus. I would give them a B plus if we're grading them that way. We came out of the blocks running. We got Cunha the day after the Premier League wrapped up. We got that deal done more or less out the door. Then we pissed about for 6 weeks with Mbeumo. And we didn't know whether we were coming or going there. So, and then we went and we got Sesko with a lot of more humming and hawing about the place. And then we got Lemens done, or Lemens, or that guy done today, the new goalkeeper. Lemens. Okay, as I said beforehand, the Irish accent is not made for French words, which just doesn't sound right. Lemens.
He's Belgian.
Well, yeah, but it's a French name in Belgium. Let's not cross borders here in Belgium. Look, he's a Belgian guy with a French sounding name that my accent can't pronounce.
Technically, my surname is French as well. It's Old Normandy.
Old Normandy, Huguenot coming over. But look, let's not go into history. This is United. Anyway, I think it's been a pretty good transfer window. More so for who we got out the door. We got Sancho out the door today. We got Rashford out the door. We got Garnacho. Did Malacia go out? I know there was tossing. Did he go out?
I don't think he did in the end.
Okay. So we got Anthony out the door at a huge loss, a 64 million euro loss if we are to get the full amount for him in. But still, he's out the door. So we're saving their wages. Now, what I'm hoping for is that because we have not pull the trigger on a central midfielder this window, that we're not panic buying. And I'm going to mention someone here that I'm only going to mention once in this podcast. And we're kind of looking at the Liverpool model when it came to Van Dijk. They wanted Van Dijk, couldn't get him, didn't waste the money to bring in another centre back and got him again the next transfer window. And I hope that's what we're doing, that we're looking at Baliba or someone similar, and we're not panic buying just to plug that hole at the minute. And then when it comes to getting the one that we won't have the cash. So that's what I hope we're doing.
Yeah.
Would I wish we had more in? Of course, everybody wants more players. You know, that's a moot point, really. But I think the caliber player we've gotten in, Cunha and Mbeumo, look like players. They look like they've hit the ground running already. Hopefully, Cunha is not too badly injured. He'll be back soon enough. But those two have definitely added a spark. When Sesko gets up and running, I think once he opens his account, he's gonna really kick it off. And from what I've seen, and look, they're not going to show the lowlights of Lemens. They're only going to show the highlights. He looks good. He looks control his area. He's a shot stopper. I haven't seen his distribution too much, but we'll hopefully he'll come in and make that number one spot his own. But that has a knock-on effect. Now we've got 4 keepers on the books, and we haven't been able to move them out unless we're hoping for a Turkish side who are renowned at not spending too much money, or a Saudi crowd coming in the next couple of days to take Onana and buy Inter off our hands. So that's why I'm giving it a B+. I think they could have done better, but we could have done a lot worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, take it up from there. Obviously, you had your, you're covering your face with your hands there when he said a B+. Give us your opinions on it.
I can't go higher than a C. Like, we brought players in. The outgoings, I figured the outgoings are going to be outgoings. We're going to have trouble getting rid of these guys because of prior management and what they gave them and everything. I don't put that on Ineos because of that's an issue that they had to deal with from prior management. The wages, everything like that.
They still have to deal with it.
They still have to deal with it, and I get it and everything like that. But at the same time, like I look at it this way, like Oshin said, Cunha came in, fantastic signing. And Buemo's a fantastic signing. We wasted 6 weeks with it. We didn't get any kind of bargain price for him. We didn't. He could have been in well into that 6 week time frame. That's the problem I have with that. Setsko, honestly, when Setsko came about, they kind of moved on him pretty quick. There wasn't 6 weeks with that. So we moved on him pretty quick. And I understand that there's an idea of all you had to wait for the dominoes to fall, kind of, with the forwards and everything.
And also with Setsko, there was more than one club in for him, which United. Remember, we spoke before that they were kind of a little bit relaxed about looking. Buemo's either coming to us or no one.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, if he's coming to us or no one, like, we're not competing with anybody. We took 6 weeks to get him in, and we got him in late. And to me, it's late. It would have been. It shouldn't have taken as long as it did, and that's what I have. That's my issue with that. Setsko, we got him in quick and fast and in a hurry when it came up. And then, Lemens, like we've known we've needed a goalkeeper. And again, we didn't get him at like a cut rate price. We basically got him for what they're asking. So my whole idea is like we could have had him in. I don't want to say at the beginning of the season or anything like that, but you could have made this deal before.
Yes, but was he really the first choice? Though that's the question. I think that's why.
But at that point, then who was the first choice? You want to talk Diego Costa? You didn't hear anything about that. You want to hear Emi Martinez? Why didn't we go for him? Why didn't we go for Emi Martinez? Well, what's the reason behind it? Is it because of the price? Because we didn't get a center midfielder in, so apparently we had money to spend somewhere.
Well, I think the reason we didn't go for Emi Martinez is because he had 4 years left on his deal, and they were looking for 40 million for him. And
32 years of age or something.
And he's 32 years of age. And I think maybe, United were probably deploying the tactic that a lot of clubs deployed on us. Well, if we wait till later in the transfer window, we might get him for a knockdown fee if he edges for a move.
Okay, but at the same time, he edged for a move. Everything that I read said Martinez was ready to come and everything like that, and they're still demanding 40 million for him, so that didn't work out. So therefore, Lemens, I always heard that they wanted Lemens. It's just that they were waiting. They were waiting and everything like that. And my problem is that in the midst of all that, they did not address, because I'll be honest, I've always said that we were never in for Baleba. I think that was just like cannon fodder that was just put out there to get everybody excited to say, because they knew, you can't tell me that they didn't know they didn't want 100 million for us.
Do you not think they genuinely tried to get him?
For 50, yeah, they generally tried to get him, and they offered the same thing that Chelsea paid for João Pedro, which, that's from what I read. So you're 50 million off. So don't tell me that's one of those. Hey, we're going to throw you a deal. How about that? No, okay, well we'll keep it going.
But Jack and Jack's, and I'm taking Jack's words here. All year, Jack has been saying all transfer window that United are going with what they think the player is worth to them and starting negotiations there and meeting somewhere in the middle. If you go in straight off, and look, this may sound And I openly put my hand up and say that I said we should have gone in for Embuemo and paid what they wanted, but he was at a decent price. He wasn't being outpriced. I don't think Believe was worth the 100 million. So I think we go in what we think he's worth and try and meet somewhere in the middle.
Okay, but with my whole thing with Baleba is that, okay, they want 100 million for him. We were going to offer, let's just say 50, 55. Let's just say 55. Fine. But then where did you go from there? You went nowhere. You didn't try. I mean, honestly, you heard some whispers about Yeoman and this, that, and the other, and the whispers of Conor Gallagher and everything like that. But you really didn't go anywhere else, and that's where I have a hard time giving them a B, is because they literally didn't go anywhere else or try to get anybody else. Like, because by what you said with the Van Dijk idea is that, okay, that's the guy that they wanted. I really don't see the price changing. Like,
but the price is not changing, but it gives them 6 months to get their PSR stuff in a row and figure out what they're going to do. They're saving so much money now, not having Sancho on the books, not having Rashford on the books, that when it comes to January time, they're going to have that money there to go in and pull the trigger on that kind of price.
I hope that's true, but I don't think it's feasible. I really don't, and I think that, I mean, unless Baleba falls on his face at Brighton and really doesn't.
We also have to be fair and realistic here. We've all said this is not a one window fix for United, so we can't all be saying, "Oh, we should have got this, this, and this," because we're not going to get everything we want every window. So what we've got, it's a good start. Okay. Would I have rathered a CM over a keeper? I think so, because the last few games we've had has shown that's our problem area. Okay. But the opportunities came up. The opportunities did not come up for a central midfielder. They come up for a keeper, and we took it. So, I mean, is it a case that we become
this year?
But is it a case that we become the team that we've been for so many years, panic buy to keep the fans happy? Let's just buy, I don't know, a Rabiot, for 300,000 a week or whatever.
Who was available again this summer, by the way.
Or do we say, right, okay, we'll keep our powder dry here. We'll get what we can get now. And then in January say, let's go back in for Stiller or go back in for Baleba if he comes out of the African Nation Cup unscathed. You know what I mean? We don't know what the World Cup is going to hold. There could be a dynamite player come from there.
And I understand that, but at the same time, I'm looking at what we tried to address and what we're trying to do, coupled with the fact that then I don't want to hear people say, "Well, we need a center midfielder for the rest of the year," because you know what?
No.
I don't want to hear it from anybody, because guess what?
But do you know what? Plus, Chris, we didn't get rid of Manu, who we've all been saying needs to. I was saying 2 weeks ago that Manu needs to go.
I would say go.
I want him there because I think he can be the future of United. If he was going to go, send him out on loan. I honestly believe it. I mean, I would play Manu over Bruno at the moment. I don't think Bruno's giving us anything in there. We'll get to the match review on later on, but maybe, and we don't know. We're not in the room. Amram might have said, "This is who I want," in a list of priority, and goalkeeper was before midfielder. We don't know that, So we have to back the manager as well in these decisions.
And maybe it's not a case either as that. Obviously you're going to have your priority in terms of areas, but the dominoes might not fall that way all of the time. You might go, right, well, we want a centre midfielder. We bid for Hulman, and they said they wanted. Supposedly, they wanted 50. We bid 40. Okay. Okay. They said no. Right. Well, that's a very, very close offer. We put in a 50 million bid for Baleba if what you were reading, Chris, is to be believed. And they said no. We want 100. No, we just went, all right. Well, fuck that then. So you can't be. It's like that whole thing in Football Manager when you put in a bid. And it's so low that they just stop negotiating with you, But United kind of reversed that a little bit. United went, no, well, we've got our valuation on him as well.
No, don't get me wrong. I understand that. But my problem is that I just think with where we were 15th last year and all the issues that we had, that I don't see why any of these deals could not have been done, and we could have went into the season all guns blazing, ready to go. That's my thing. And I mean, that's my issue, is that we consistently aren't ready for the beginning of the season. And that's where, if you want me to put them in a B plus to an A, then we would have had those guys ready to go for the season. Let's go at that point. And to be honest with you, I don't. And I'll put a lot of it on the whole employment thing, because there's no one here. Like Ocean and I are pretty much in the same accord, is that there is nothing you're going to tell me that we did right by waiting 6 weeks to get Embuemo. We paid more, and we waited. Like, so that whole thing just boggles my mind at that point. And that's why I sit back and I go, and then, I heard some whispers earlier and different things I was listening to that, Amron wanted Oli Watkins because he wanted Premier League proven, and Babel wanted Sesko. Okay, so one wanted one wanted another, so that's what we went with, and that's who we got. I mean, I think Sesko is going to be very good. Don't get me wrong, I do, but he's, as we all know, he's a work in progress. He's 22 years old. He's gonna take an adjustment. And Oli Watkins hasn't lit the world on fire at the beginning of the year, anyways. But Villa's playing garbage right now. But and then if it's true what they say that Amron wanted a lot more Premier League proven, we didn't go for we didn't do Emi Martinez. Okay, but my problem with that is, and Lamens may be fantastic, and I hope he is.
Sorry, Chris, while this thought is in my head, because I'll only lose it. Is it not a case that all managers want Premier League proven players? Because it's a short-term job at the best of times, where are United, and not to the same extent as Chelsea, but are we going down the same kind of route as Chelsea a little bit, where we're trying to get a mix of players? Maybe Chelsea are not doing this, but we're trying to get a mix of players of maybe experience like Embuemo and Cunha, and also sprinkle in the guys that are going to be ready in a year or two.
No, and I understand that, but then that lends me to say that with what we need, especially in the first, if you want to put Grimsby in their first 4 games, is that we need a leadership in between the pipes. We need a leader. We don't have a leader between the pipes.
On the pitch, full stop.
Well, okay.
The post, we need. There's no leadership on that pitch.
Okay.
Anywhere on the
pitch. I'll concede Ocean, that comment to Ocean for now. But I mean, my thing is, we need a leader between the pipes right now. A guy that is going to take no shit and is just going to command. And Lamens, as far as I know, isn't going to do that. I think Emi Martinez would have done that. I know he's 32. He has 4 years left. But we got Van der Sar later in his career than we would have got Emi Martinez. So don't give me the age thing, because the age thing is, I mean, you could have still went and got Lamens or a player of Lamens to sit behind Emi Martinez. With that being said,
and then have 5 keepers on the book.
Well, I'm not. I want to get rid of both keepers, so I don't want to have 5 keepers. But I'm just saying, for right now, I mean, who's to say you can't get Lamens next window? Who's to say you can't get Lamens in January? Maybe if one of them go. Because right now, I think if we want to make a push for Europe, I don't even want to say top 4, but just Europe in general, I think we needed that experience between the pipes.
But is Martinez that goalkeeper? From what I've seen, he's not. He's a shot stopper. He doesn't seem to control his area. He comes out for corners. That's not what I'm reading when you say leadership between the posts. That's not what I'm envisioning in Martinez.
The one thing I would say about Martinez is that he has the shoulders to carry the pressure of the number 1.
Yes.
So do I, but I'm a fucking shit goalkeeper. You know what I mean? Like and look, Martinez is not a shit goalkeeper, but I would have seen it kind of as a sideways step, in my opinion. You know what I mean? We know, and we've all seen the stats that he had more errors leading to goals in the Premier League last year than Onana did, and we all wanted Onana out. Now also he's a World Cup winner, he's a Golden Glove in the World Cup and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I agree. I think it's a very difficult decision to make, and I think the goalkeeper has to. emanate calmness within his back line, and I don't know. I don't know.
think Martinez does that. I mean, look at Martinez against us last game of last season.
Yeah.
I mean, he assaulted Highland. There's no other word for that tackle. And do you think that could we afford for that kind of thing to happen again? I don't think we can. He reminds me a lot of Barthez. So he looks great and in between the posts, he's flamboyant, whatever else. But he's costly as well,
Yeah.
I mean,
in terms of giving up goals.
I understand that, but I still think he's vastly better than what we have. I mean, not take this guy that Jack just put up aside because we don't know what we're going to get from him yet. But I just think that he's someone that I think would instill that calmness, because I think the defenders would trust in what he's doing and how he operates and everything like that.
I think you can put a 50-year-old Van der Sar in and a 60-year-old Schmeichel in, and they'd be better than what we have at the minute. So I don't think that's a fair point to make, because we all know that what we have at the moment is just.
But don't get me wrong, Lemens. I've watched some videos on Lemens and stuff like that. He's a shot stopper, and I think everybody talks about that he is what David De Gea was when we got him when he was 22, and that this kid is heralded to be the next Thibaut Courtois.
Is he not pushing Courtois already for the Belgian number one?
Well, I mean, I hope so. Courtois is like 50.
Well, he hasn't made a senior appearance for Belgium yet, obviously, because Courtois is the number one.
Yes,
but he will be the next one in line for that Belgian team once Courtois retires.
Exactly. I mean, it's hard to unseat someone of Courtois.
Yeah,
it's
of
like
course.
Buffon. It's like Buffon. I mean, nobody knows who the backup to Buffon was because he played all the time, and no one was going to move him. I mean, I think Donnarumma probably would have went to another country if he didn't think Buffon would have kept playing. But I mean, I'm not saying we didn't get the quality of player. I just don't like what Ineos did as far as timings and everything for our transfers, because I don't think they did Amorim any justice. They didn't help him out enough to start the season the way we needed to start. Let's just put it that way.
Well, I mean, we didn't start looking at Le Mans yesterday. This has been ongoing. So I mean, they have been working on it, so we can't say they haven't helped him. They have been looking, and it's not a while. We said on this podcast numerous times, we can't go in beating our chest and going, "We're Man United, bow down to us." We don't have that power anymore. So we can't go and say, "Right, we're United, give us your keeper." For Royal Antwerp to go, "Oh, absolutely, here you go." That's just not going to happen. So I disagree with your point here that they haven't helped them. They've obviously been trying, but you can't just go in and say, "I'll have him, thanks."
I kind of disagree with that, but at the same time, you can force the issue. I think you can force the issue, and I'm sorry, I just think that.
But by our reports over here, Antwerp were pushing for a second team to come in to push up to the bid, and when no team was coming in, they sold to us.
Okay, and I get that, but I mean, at that point, I would give them a C. I mean, I like the players that we brought in, but I don't like the timings of them. I mean, I think that there's a lot to be desired in how they handled Emblemo and.
Well, I mean, there's you have to think as well, better late than never. I mean, we could have gone through this window and signed no one.
That's true.
So I mean, be happy with what we have.
Well, the one thing I
had changed. I do not like myself for changing.
The one thing I would say, and look, it kind of ties in with what's on the screen here, is that Chris Wheeler writes in the Daily Mail, Manchester United accept they can't do everything in one window, and midfield is likely to be priority in January or next summer. I like the fact that we didn't panic after 3 games this season, after the Grimsby loss, and throw a whole heap of money on it and give another 32, 33-year-old 350 grand a week.
No, I'm not asking for that though. Not at all.
Yeah, I understand.
If we get into the stats like I want to, like what I talked to you about, Jack, is that everybody's like so hard nosed about the Grimsby game. Okay, that's a black mark. I can't make anything to do about that one. I mean, I could give my opinion on the Grimsby game, but as far as the other 3 games, like our midfield isn't as bad as everybody wants to make it out for. I have the stats to look at it, and it's like everybody wants, we're getting run through. No, we weren't. Like when we do everything that Amarim wants to do, we control games. Now, if the players aren't going to do what he wants them to do throughout the game, okay, is that an Amarim fault or is that a player's fault? Like they have to stay consistent. And I think the problem is right now the players aren't staying consistent on what needs to happen. And that's where I go with that, is that, you know, like the Grimsby game, honestly, my opinion on that is we should have started our starters and gotten a 4-0 lead and then given them a break, because you're playing a team that has nothing to lose and these guys are going to come out and lay the wood. And at that point, you go out there and you put them in their place and then you let the youngsters play. I mean, I'll put that on Amarim. I wholeheartedly will put that on him and say, you made a mistake there, because you need to go out there and make a statement. And we're not in a position to sit there and say, we're going to give some guys some chance. No. You go out there and you put the game to bed, and then you play the young guys at that point. And I'm like, and if you can't, and after 50 minutes or 60 minutes, you can't put them to bed, then we have bigger problems at that point. Then I'll sit there and say, we have a tactical problem or something like that. But I think if we would have started with Bruno and everybody playing the way they started to play in the second half, I think we would have very well been, if Buemo would have been playing next to Cunha and everything like that, I think we would have put them to bed 3-0. And maybe they would have pulled a goal back late or something like that. But I honestly think that if we would have played the starters for 45 minutes, the first 45, we would have been winning that game easy.
Yeah. Look, the thing that annoys me with the Grimsby game is we lost on penalties. That's pot luck. You know, go back to Van Gaal when he first came in. We were beaten by MK Dons 4-0 at the same point in the cup. We were baited off the park within 90 minutes. What I took from Tuesday night was that the work is starting to play there. But when we go beyond our first 11, we don't have a whole lot of depth into how they know the system. I'm wondering, is Amarim picking maybe 13, 14 and working with them, and the rest are kind of told, go there, do 5-a-sides, do your little homework or whatever, and I'm working with my first 11 and my next 3 in. And anybody beyond that he's not working with them, which, you know, is concerning if that's the case. I'm not saying it is the case, but that's how it looked to me the other night. But we also, how many times in the past couple of years have we gone 2-0 down and just shut down, just falling apart altogether? We came back to draw 2-2 and we had chance. So it's not all everyone says, oh, Grimsby was a poor game. Okay, we should have beat Grimsby out the door. We had the chances. Luck just doesn't go our way, and sometimes that's what football's all about. And we lost in a penalty shootout. Anyone can lose a penalty shootout. So I'm not having this whole, get rid of him after the Grimsby game. Jack, I had an issue with what you said, he can't come back from this. I think he can. I think he will. Because he will get there.
I hope he does.
I think now we've got the transfer window done. He knows who he has and who he's going to work with. We're going to see a different United after the international break. And we've improved so much already over the summer. We're only going to improve more. We still have problem areas. It's not going to be flawless 90 minutes week in, week out.
No, of course.
But I think we're going to get to a point where we're going to enjoy watching United again.
I mean, I pulled some stats just from Premier League and everything like that. XG, we're number 1 in XG at 6.7. We're above Chelsea, you know, after this weekend. Total shots, we're number 1 in 42. Shots on goal, we're second in 15. Expected assist goals, and everything that we're third at that.
Chris, I'm trying to get that picture up. I can't fucking find
it.
Well,
don't worry about that one, Jack, because I went and I got the updated ones, but like shot.
Oh, I've got
shot creation. We're number 1. Total touches in the opponent's box, we're number 1. Possession, we're 5th. Like, for people that want to sit there and say the tactics aren't working, bullshit. I understand that we're not scoring goals just yet, and I get that, and we all know that's the cure-all, end-all. You score, you're going to win, and everything like that. But we are playing so much better than we were 6 months ago that people need to really look, because the the stats show that we are a better team than we were 6 months ago with the preseason, with Embuemo and Cunha. And I mean, this is not even with Sesko. This is Mount playing the number 9 at this point. You know, Sesko's had limited time. So, I mean, I think that's, and I mean, our defense, we've had some just I think it's more of a lapse than it is a defensive failure at that point. You know, like the Fulham game. Yes, Bruno didn't track Smith Rowe. Okay, that happens. You know, but you know, we also had more opportunities than Fulham in that game. We should have won 4-1 at that point. You know, Luke Shaw against Burnley, he headed the ball back, like literally right back into the danger area, and the guy took the shot and it ricocheted and went in the net. Like, these are just, I think they're more minor problems that we're getting killed for because, one, these problems go away when we score goals. Because against Burnley, we should have been, what, 4-0 after 20 minutes, roughly? So if you're 4-0 after 20 minutes, does anybody care if you let these 2 little shit goals go in? No. And I think that once we start putting the ball in the back of the net, this stuff goes away. But the thing is, the difference is we are making the chances for that to happen, not like last year where, I mean, we can all agree. We're still waiting for them. They're just still kicking around the box.
Well, I think it goes back to what we were saying there about the transfer window. I think it's all neatly connected. Is that what was the priority? The priority was to get goals into this team this year. Now, we can see there is going to be goals in this team. It just hasn't clicked into gear yet, you know, and Cunha and Buemo, Sesko, even Bruno, Casemiro are all learning to play with each other again.
Ahmad too. Ahmad had a wide
Ahmad, exactly. And I thought Ahmad was brilliant on the weekend. We'll talk about the weekend in a minute, but I thought he was very good at right wing back. You know, so like the signs are good.
No, I mean, this whole, and that's what I talked about earlier, the divisiveness, it literally drives me up a wall. Like, even my buddy that we're going to go to Chelsea, you know, that we're going to take on the 18th, we're going to the game and everything like that. Him and I go back and forth. He's just like, I go, you can't tell me we're not playing better, because we are. The only thing that we're not doing is putting the ball in the back of the net.
But the thing about
that, United fans, God-given right to be a moany bastard at the same time, though.
Yeah, but the thing about that is, and I will play devil's advocate a little bit here. There were times last season under Amram and even earlier in the season under Ten Hag where there was moments where we went, oh yeah, that's it. But it's about doing it on a consistent basis that we haven't done it, and I think that's what Amram needs to get right more than anything else.
But I think in the first 3 games or 4 games, I think he's shown the consistency, because otherwise we wouldn't be where we're at. And with the stats, the XG, the time of possession, the possession in other people's boxes, and I think that's the key, is that, like, and to be honest with you, our number 1 signing, if we want to rate the number 1 signing, Matthias Cunha, number 1, because I mean, what he does, he unlocks defenses, because the one thing he can do is, he'll take a guy on and he beats him and he unlocks everything.
But you know what
individual skill is ridiculous.
Yeah, and what I was very impressed with on the weekend, especially, was that our patterns of play were there to be seen, and there were repeatable patterns of play. And even after Mount and Cunha went off, the same patterns were happening time after time after time after time. Dallo was overlapping on the left, and Buemo was getting it on the right-hand side with Ahmad either cutting inside. It was the same style of attack that we were doing, you know, and you see that an awful lot with opposition teams. Anyway, perfect.
I don't know. I was listening to Ocean to give me a note.
Sorry, no, because I interrupted you there, so I was expecting you to come back. But sorry, I want to talk a little before we get on to the weekend's game. I want to talk a little bit about the outgoings really quick, because I think in some way the outgoings have nearly been as impressive. Like, if we look at the outs this season for Manchester United, Garnacho, and this is including everybody if they're released or going on loan. I won't count the loans. Well, the ones that are important. Garnacho gone, Eriksen gone, Evans gone, Lindelof gone, Rashford gone, Vitek gone, Collier gone, Williams gone, Højlund gone, Anthony gone. You know, that's a pretty substantial clear out on the back of, I think, 14 that went last year as well. I mean, and again, Chris, I'll throw this at you because you know you've obviously had your criticisms with Ineos a little bit. You have to hand it to them. They're well able to. It might be late and there might be loan deals or whatever the case may be, but they're not wasting any time in trying to clear out this squad.
No, and I think that was a big thing that, like, that's a big thing is that, you know, how are they going to clear out the Rashards, the Sanchos, the Antonys? You know, some of those guys that you named are, you know, they're loan moves, like Toby Collier, you know, Ethan Williams, a lot of those guys, you know, they're
Harry Amas is gone as
Harry
well.
Amas, you know, and it's just, you know, but I mean, those are loan moves that, you know, they could become worthwhile for us later and everything like that. But what we call them, the trouble bunch, or what is it? The
bomb squad.
The bomb squad. Like, to get them out, I'm very happy. I mean, if Sancho was still around, I would have went searching for him when I came into Manchester on the 18th, on the 20th. I would have found him. I'm like, and then nobody would have saw him. But then, you know, but at the same time, he's gone now. But, you know, good luck to Villa for that. Even my buddy that's a Villa fan, he's just like, "Are you serious? We're going to take this kid?" I'm like, "Good, yes."
Yeah.
Now you'll know.
I'm getting the same from Chelsea fans about Garnacho. It's great.
Oh, I can't wait for the chant. You know, in the state, I'll be yelling. I
just can't wait for Mason Mount to smash him with a tackle when we play Chelsea. That's all I want to see.
I want to see somebody just break the kid in half.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I bet you he's hurt for that game because he's too scared to come on.
That's the only reason he turned down Bayern Munich. The only reason he went to Chelsea is so he can kiss the badge when he plays against us, if he scores or whatever the case may be. But Oisín, give me your thoughts on the outgoings. Another big clear out, and you know, obviously with not being in Europe this year, we don't need a bigger squad. And like we said, they've wasted no time in trying to get rid of all of these players.
Well, look, I mean, first of all, for me, you take Evans, Eriksson, and Lindelof out of that because they were going anyway. You know, that's not what Ineos can do, but they were going. They were never going to get new contracts, so I'm not, I'm not counting those as serious outgoings.
Yeah.
Anthony, he wasn't good enough, but we get a 50% sell-on clause. If he lights it up as well as he does in Spain this year as he did last year, and someone comes in, we get a 50% net sell-on clause, which, you know, is great business. Garnacho, we've got a 10% sell on them. So as well as making the money up front now, we're future-proofing ourselves too if these people do go on, which is something we were never doing. Okay, we're not making the money that Man City make or Chelsea are making on their academy graduates. But I mean, at the same time, the deals we're getting out, they're not to be sniffed at either. You know what I mean?
I mean, as well, maybe we're just enclosed in our own little greenhouse here. But I mean, Ederson to Fenerbahce, is it for something like 17 million?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not the only ones that are losing out on top tier players for small money.
But the other thing is,
they did not spend as much on Ederson as we did on Anthony.
That's absolutely true. Yeah,
we're making, I think, it's a 64 million euro loss on that in total.
Yeah,
and that's not sustainable.
But the other thing is too, but we don't even have the money in for Rashford yet. Meaning, you know, he's going to get sold, so that's still money. That's if he has a good season at Barcelona, we could still get another 40 million for Rashford at the next year and stuff. I mean,
Sancho's essentially gone from there now. This is his last year.
No, I'm saying Rashford though, because Rashford's only.
But I mean, Rashford we can still sell.
Yes.
But Sancho is now done with United.
Yeah.
Unless he has to come back, he's done.
Technically, we can trigger the 1-year extension on his contract by January.
And who's going to do that? In all honesty,
I'll slap someone if they do that.
Well, that's it. I don't know what.
The only reason to do that is if he lights it up at Aston Villa and there's a chance of getting some money for him. But if no one's going to come in and buy him.
But the thing about it is that even if he was to light it up at Villa this season, there's no way he would get the same kind of money or wherever he goes next year that he's getting at United, $250,000 a week. So from a United standpoint, I would prefer enjoy your last year of ever getting this kind of money, you fucking freedom fighting prick. All right, because you're not going to get another year of it off of us, you know. That's 100%. What I would say.
That's why I said there's no way we would trigger it, because there's no way. It's like, oh well, he's doing so well, it doesn't matter, because what his wage demands are going to be, no one's going to give him that money, and we get stuck again. at that point. You know, I mean, it's just that kid's
and
just
is the deal a straight loan? There's no obligation. Oh, sure, there won't be any.
No,
are they
no,
covering the wages or are we
straight loan.
covering wages?
80% they're
they're
covering.
covering 80%, and depending on, again, this is smart out United, depending on certain parameters, if he meets them, it will go up to 100% they'll have to cover. So again, you know what I mean. Good work. I wanna ask you as well, Oisín, so while you're talking there about while we're on the outgoings, and that is Rasmus Højlund, 40 million with an obligation to buy if they get into the Champions League next year, which they will. I mean, they're Serie A champions. You wouldn't expect them to have that massive a fall. How good of a deal do you think that is for United? Obviously, look, we overpaid for him in the first place, but to have 2 poor seasons like he did and still get potentially 40 million in surely is not bad.
I feel a bit for him because he tried. Again, it goes back to Anthony Malacia. Through no fault of his own, was he valued at 70 million? You know what I mean? If he was a 30 or 40 million pound player and he came in, we wouldn't be feeling the resentment and anger is the wrong word, but the kind of letdown we're feeling, I suppose, because of how poor the 2 seasons went. It's a 30 million loss. You've had him 2 years, so with depreciation, it's not the worst amount of money to be losing. You know, considering he was never going to make it at United now, with Sesko coming in, it does leave us a bit light up front, I will say, because I don't think this false 9 system is going to last long term. I don't think playing Cunha or Mount as a number 9 is sustainable for a full season. So it does leave us a bit light with only Xerxes and Cheeto as the backup. And I don't see Cheeto getting a lot of game time this season. Now that we're out of it, now that we're out of the Carabao Cup, especially.
Yeah, do you envisage Amram playing that Mason Mount, Cunha, and Buemo front 3 more? Because I mean, if we're saying how good the game was on the weekend, I mean that front line did work in the opening half an hour.
Look, if we're getting out to the game, I think Amram is creating a problem for himself because you don't spend 70 million on a striker and not play him when he gets match fit. And then that leaves him with the issue of one or the other of Mount and Bruno. And right now, I would be playing Mount over Bruno. I just think he's offering more. Okay, Bruno scored a penalty at the weekend. We've got
Mount over Bruno. What spot in the pivot?
Well, he's not going to be. They're not going to not play Cunha and Mbeumo as the 10s.
Okay.
So it's the only other spot. See, that's the problem. He's keeping Bruno in that position because he feels like he has to play Bruno. But I think at the moment Mount is playing better football than Bruno. But won't be playing there because Bruno has to play there. But he's not going to lose any of the Cunha or Benitez.
I can understand what you're saying. If you look at, I suppose, what Bruno is missing in that number 6, Mount does in the number 10 spots in terms of his energy. He's covering ground, he's pressing, he's closing down. So are you potentially saying that Mount could do a better job in the 6 than Bruno could?
At the moment, yeah, I feel so because I don't see him dropping. Well, look, with the start Cunha and Mbeumo are going to have, do you drop one of those back to the 6 and play Mount in the 10? You don't. So, I mean, I think Sesko, Cunha and Mbeumo are a starting front 3.
Yeah.
And then it's what happens behind that is where we're going to, who do we fit in that round hole at the minute? And right now, the better fit in the round hole for me, with what I've seen in the first 3 games, is Mount.
Yeah, but you can't play Mount as a 6.
You can't play Bruno as a 6 either. It's not working.
Mount doesn't track back. You're asking Mount to do something that he's not done ever at that point.
But Bruno's not working as the 6 either.
There's stats that prove that Bruno is working better at the 6.
But I mean, there's probably stats out there for most centre forward hair flicks at the minute. We're probably first on that too.
Yeah, but I don't see.
You know what I mean?
But I don't see how you can. You're taking Mason Mount.
Always bringing it back to hair, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's why none of it. It's fucking follicle.
But here's the thing: you're taking Mason Mount and how he's playing as a false 9 or a 10. And trying to convert him into a 6 and comparing what Bruno's doing as a 6.
We're taking Bruno as a 10 and trying to play. Yeah, I would.
Bruno wasn't playing as a 10.
I probably, but he's not a 6. And what that's
We all
again,
know
that's
that.
what we've been. But what we've been saying since the start is we needed a midfielder, and what we have is now it's be patchwork. And right now, I would play Mount over Bruno
At the
because I
6.
think Mount brings more because he brings more energy on the pitch. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
If my suspicion is correct and Amorim isn't fully sold on Manu, I think our two options in there are Bruno and Mount, and puts Manu down to third choice.
I mean,
If
I don't think
Sesko comes in, is what I'm saying.
I don't think it's the worst idea in the world, all right, because of the energy levels that Mount has. He's closing down, he's able to cover the ground, like I said previously. If you are going to play a forward line of Sesko, Mount, or Sesko, Cunha, and Mbeumo, and then you have the energy of Mount behind him, not necessarily in an out-and-out 6, but maybe in a number 8 role, you know,
Slightly ahead of the diamond,
alongside somebody like a Casemiro. I mean, there's worse ideas in the world, in my opinion. You know, I obviously on the ball and, you know, in terms of a natural fit for that position, you probably would say Manu, but I think there's a lot of things that Mount would give you in there. I think Mount is more mobile than Manu. He's not as technically gifted as Manu is. Maybe hasn't got as good an eye for goal as Manu does. But I think there's pros and cons to it. Chris, go on, give us your thoughts on it.
I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. That's fucking asinine. Because Mount has Mount does not play the ball progressively. He doesn't track back. Yeah, he can run around with the best of them. Well, that's great. That's just what we need. Some dude to run around and not know what the fuck he's doing. Like, no, I'm sorry. And if you look at the first 3 games, you know, that take the Grimsby game out of it because Casemiro and Bruno didn't play. When Casemiro and Bruno have been playing, they've been playing well. Bruno has been playing very good progressive balls forward. Does he lose some balls? Yes, we know that Bruno's going to lose balls here and there and everything like that. But if you look at him, he's making the progressive passes. Against Burnley, you heard the guys. Look at the ball he played across to Mbeumo, across the pitch. You know, he's doing better. Again, we look at the fact that we're trying to take Bruno, that's not a number 6, and playing him as a number 6. He's doing the best that he can. He's trying to learn a new position. Now you're going to take Mason Mount that in his entire career, starting probably from when he was 5 years old, has never played in that position. And now you want to put him there. No.
Right. Well, let me ask you this then. CRM says, where does that leave Ugarte, Chris?
I think Ugarte is a player that he comes on off the bench because as much as I like Ugarte, and I don't think he's gotten a fair, like, I think he's played poorly, and I like Ugarte. I think Ugarte is a person at this moment until his play gets better. He's gonna spell Casemiro when Casemiro's legs are done 60 minutes into the game. That's what I see out of Ugarte. And I mean, again, now if we play I won't say this because they've been playing pretty well, Southampton, you know, or Sunderland. When we play at Sunderland, maybe you can start with Ugarte, you know, or someone like that. You know, maybe you give Casemiro a little bit of a break here and there, and you can start him. And you can those two players I think are interchangeable, meaning that Casemiro is going to start, Ugarte is going to spell him, and everything like that. My problem is with Bruno and Manu. If Manu can start to play the way he's supposed to play, then fine, bench Bruno and play Manu. But I haven't seen that out of him. I have not. He doesn't track back. He doesn't know how to press. He finds himself in between a lot and everything like that. And everybody says, "Oh, look what he made the pass to Mbeumo." Give me a freaking break. That was a 10-yard pass that he just put the ball forward, and Mbeumo made the run from 60 yards out. And like that's where Desi and I get into it. And I wish Desi was here because there is nothing that Manu does as a 6 that Bruno hasn't already done this season. I'm sorry. If you watch the games, don't get me wrong, Oshin. I agree. We need another midfielder. Bruno isn't that guy. He doesn't fit the system to be that guy. But he's doing the one thing I can say about Bruno. He's going to do us a job. He's going to be there and he's going to do the best that he can. And you know, of all the players who are asking to play out of the position, he's the one. So he's going to get the shit for it. You know,
right?
what I mean?
Let me just highlight something here. So Up the Villa says United are finished, right? So let's just have a little look here at the league table. There's United in 9th. Oh, who's 10 places below us down there? I think it might be Aston Villa. And who have you got to fix your troubles for you now? Fucking shower
Nice.
bum.
Yeah.
Yeah, best of luck with that one. Sorry, I
But
just
honestly, I also think though, Ocean, I think that as well as Mount has played, but he had to come off at halftime because supposedly he was playing with an injury. So that's an issue in itself. But at the same time, I think that, like what we talked about before, once you get past the starting 11, I think that Ugarte and Mount are those players that are the first to come on. So like when we need a change, if Sesko's not working up top, you bring Mount in the 60th minute, and he's going to run for 30 minutes, and he's going to press. He's going to do what you need to do. Do I wish better for Mason Mount? Meaning I wish he could play more? Yes. But until he can prove that, I'm not going to put him out there for that. You know,
But in your opinion, where does Mount play if you're going to play him more? Where does he play?
I think he becomes a false nine for when Sesko has to come off. I think Sesko's our starter.
But you said you wanted to play more, right? So take aside our front three. If Mount is going to start, where's he going to start?
If Mount was going to start with those front three,
yeah.
Honestly, and you're going to kill me for it, but I would put Mbeumo.
Don't say wing back. Do not say wing back because he can't play wing back.
What?
If you're telling me he's not a 6, he's less of a wing back.
No. I'm saying I put Mbeumo as the right wing back, and I put Mount as the 10.
There's no way you drop 70 minutes one of the best attacking.
Let me ask a question. What was said when everybody asked Amarin, what do you want out of your wing backs? He wants wingers to play wing back. What was Mbeumo at Brentford? He was a winger to play wing back. He can play there. It's a more natural transition.
But Amarin's vision for Mbeumo is as a number 10. I think if Amarin wanted to play Mbeumo as a wing back, he would have. He's that fucking stubborn that if he wanted to play him he would have. But he's not. He's playing him as a 10 because that's what Amarin sees him.
Are you really going to take? I don't know. It's not by a lot, but are you really going to take our top goal scorer out of the number 10 and put him at wing back?
No, but I get that. But at the same time, I look at it and I go, if you want to look at it and say where are you going to play Mount because he deserves to start, he doesn't. Because you have Cunha and Mbeumo. They're better than him. Just like Bruno. They're better than him. But Bruno is the more versatile player to play at the 6 than Mount is.
Yeah, I think... Go on. Sorry, Oshin. Go on. Go ahead.
I'm just going to... Look, I'm going to drop a bombshell here. It's probably not a bombshell. But I think Bruno is one of the biggest problems in this system. I think we're only playing Bruno because he's the captain. And we have got to... I promise I don't even mention them once, but this is my second time mentioning them. But a certain crowd across a certain river where they sing about a ferry, right?
I've learned how to do sound effects.
That's dangerous going forward. But they don't get as sentimental as we do. If the players outlive their purpose, they go off to Bayern Munich. You know? We said under Amarin we can't be that sentimental. Oh, we can't sell this player because of this, that, and the other. He is one of the main reasons. He is the biggest glaring problem with this system that Amarin is sticking to. But yet you're saying that we can't lose him because he's doing a job in there.
No, I'm not saying we can't lose him, but you're telling me you're going to put someone that's never done that before.
But he suits what Amarin wants. He does what Amarin wants. He does. That's what Amarin is looking for.
Bruno doesn't run around enough. Nobody's ever said that.
I'm not saying Bruno hasn't been a great player for us. I'm not saying that Bruno hasn't run around. And I'm not saying without Bruno we'd be playing championship football this year against like Southampton and Wrexham and Birmingham and these kind of people. But time moves on and time waits for no man. No, and unfortunately, I believe Bruno's time is up.
And I'll be honest with you, Oshin. I would agree with you that
I'd get a bag of potato there for yourself, Jack, and just see how this goes.
But I'll agree. And funny as it'll sound, I'll agree with you that Bruno is an issue with this system because he doesn't fit our system. But you know what? For what we have right now, he's the best player to be put in that spot.
I disagree. Do you know who the best players to play in that system right now?
Who?
Is Menu, for everything that you said. But you just said he's a technical player. You just said he's better than Mount. I don't think Bruno fits in there. That? I really don't.
I didn't think Manu was better than Mount. not Mount.
Or look, one of the two of you did. It sounded like an American accent. I don't know. But
no, I've seen Mainu play the ball side to side more than anything.
I'm not saying he's better than Bruno in terms of technical, but I'm saying he's better than Mount. And I don't think Bruno fits in there. I think Mainu fits in there better for what Amram wants.
But why?
Tell
me what you've seen out of Mainu so far that says he's better at the 6.
What I think Mainu brings. You think he'd be over by Christmas if he played Mainu in there?
No, I go his ass got run over by Grimsby playing the 6.
I think again that if we were to play this system, if Amram wanted to come in and play the system without Bruno, he'd work more with Mainu. But because he has Bruno, he's playing him purely because he's club captain. That's my honest opinion.
Okay.
I think because Bruno has the armband, which doesn't suit him, in my opinion. I mean, there's something that he did at Burnley at the weekend, or it was fucking ridiculous. Himself and Dalot celebrating a goal kick against Burnley. What in the name of sweet holy divine Jesus was that about? Get the ball down and play out. Never mind pumping your chest and then starting to fight on the way back out. That's not good enough for United.
Okay. Neither is Mainu right now.
What?
That's why he doesn't play. Neither is Mainu.
I missed what you said. You were off mic.
I said Mainu isn't good enough right now. I mean, I don't know why everybody wants to playing Bruno in there. He's 19 years old. He isn't. Last year he showed 20. He wasn't good enough.
He's 20.
Okay, my bad. So it's even worse. So he's 20 years old, and he last year he didn't show anything. He showed his ass last year. He got hurt, yes, but he showed he didn't play. He plays the ball more sideways than anybody does. I'm sorry, he does. I mean, he doesn't.
This is one of those things where Jack's viewership is turning off now because we're going around in circles. So it's one of those things where we're never going to agree on.
No, we're not.
I'm playing X's and O's with myself,
and you're still losing. Look, let's agree to disagree on it, and we'll shake like gentlemen and walk away.
No, you're dead right. And the fact that, and we need more conversation like this where you don't end up fucking falling out with each other. You just go, all right, well, you agree with something different, because too many times, someone might have a different opinion and especially online, and you're a dickhead and you have zero ball knowledge and all this nonsense. You know what I mean? I don't think there is a natural solution to the number 6, and that's why we've been talking.
Not with what we have. No, I
agree with that. Exactly. And I think that's why. Yeah,
I agree with Oshin that we've probably, in hindsight, we should have sold Bruno and we should have went out and got a better 6, whoever that, whether that be a Baleba or whoever you want to. To be honest, we need 2, but that's just, we need 2 at that point, and that's my problem. And honestly, could Mainu be the future? Yes, but he's not right now.
And I think
we're trying to force the issue with the kid, and it's not going to work.
And I think next summer, if you let's say Bruno moves on, which a lot of us are expecting, and maybe he might next summer to be moved on, and if you could get a 70 or 80 million pound deal for him to Saudi Arabia or whatever the case may be, and the fact that United haven't overspent on the panic signing this summer, we could be talking about the midfield next summer being completely transformed like the forward line has this year.
100%.
And then all of a sudden we're going, right, well, we've got a fucking chance here, lads. You know what I mean? But look, it's early doors. I done a poll before we went live. Rate Man United's window out of 10. It only gave me 4 options. So 8 to 10, 5 to 7, 2 to 4, and then less than 2. We've got obviously 0% less than 2. 13% of people have said it's between a 2 and a 4. 59% between 5 and a 7, and 28% then have said between 8 and a 10. So look, the majority of people are positive about what we've done. You know what I mean? So big C. But lads, look, really good conversation. I think we'll just end it on this. I hope that Villa lad is back in the chat there. We'll just leave him with that lovely picture. He's your problem now.
Freedom at last.
He is your problem now. Bye-bye.
Oh my gosh.
But look, I think the outgoings have been good. You know what I mean? Manu gone, Rashford gone, Sancho gone, Anthony gone. Who else? Did the whole bomb squad clear? I wouldn't even count Malassi in that. I thought it was a bit hard.
That was unfair. Malassi and Anthony didn't deserve to be in that. In my opinion.
For Turkey. I see he's out. He's out for like 2 months or 3 months now with an injury. Turkey.
Yeah, but that's why I told D in the chat. I'm like, don't be throwing that around because we don't know how long Cunha is out for either. So don't
you fucking dare talk about that in this live chat. All right, don't you dare.
No, but I mean, so let me ask the question. Let me ask this question. So of all the players, I mean, we haven't seen Lamens yet, but who are you most excited for out of the players that we got?
Well, Cunha is the most flair player, of course he is. You know what I mean? The one that gets you on the edge of your seat. But you got to hand it to him, Mbeumo. He's put the ball in the net. You know, so I'm not looking past him either. I'm really looking forward to Sesko getting the string of games. I'm really from what I've seen, just the outline of a footballer that he is, the physicality. I think his link-up play is actually really good. His first touch, he lays it up, very rarely gives it away, and I think if the players around him can learn his runs and his positioning and the type of game, I think he could go on a bit of a run. I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Oshie?
Yeah, before Jack even started, I think Mbeumo has really kind of, for me, he's the kind of player I like. He's strong, direct. He can find a pass. He'll take someone on. He'll have a shot if it's there. He's fearless, which is something that we've not really had play for United in a couple of years. I mean, we talked about Rashford going to blind alleys, Garnacho shooting on sight, and Mbeumo is that player who will just hold on to the last minute and just do the right thing with it from what I've seen so far. And he's only going to get better the fitter he gets and the more he fits into the system with Cunha. Mbeumo for me is the person I'm looking forward to for the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how about you, Chris?
I'm looking forward to Cunha, to be honest, because what he does and how he unlocks defenses and how he takes on players, and he knows. And don't get me wrong, I'm not. This is no shade on Mbeumo because I'm Mbeumo, however he says his name, but like his movements, like how he positioned himself on Delos when he got the goal against Burnley, like he knew to back off and be in a certain spot, love it and everything like that. But with Cunha, nice. But with Cunha,
what number did they give him?
Not sure, actually. Go on, keep talking there. I'll find it.
But with Cunha, it's just like every time he gets the ball and how he passes, but at the same time, he just makes a move and he unlocks somebody else, and he beats somebody and he then he crosses. He doesn't beat someone to beat another person. He beats someone to see if he can pass and find someone, or he beats someone to take a shot and not have to beat someone and then be like and do a tap in. Like I think he's something that we've been waiting for a long, long time. Like, you know, he's almost, and I'm going to say this, it's going to sound weird, but he's almost Giggs-esque because he takes people on, and he takes people on when he knows he needs to, but then he'll also know when to pass, and he doesn't, you know, he's always driving into space when he's dribbling. He's not just driving into 5 players. He'll dribble across the defense just to make things happen instead of, you know, playing these sideways passes that go nowhere. Like, it's just, I'm very excited to see what he brings. And honestly, I think he's going to unlock a lot for us. You know, once those guys get a string of games together, I think it's going to be fun and exciting to watch. I mean, I'm real excited about it, to be honest.
Let's just hope he says with my sister-in-law that if you're comparing to Giggs.
Well, yeah. I'll go with that one too.
Right, we're leaving it there.
Exactly. So, but
yeah, I didn't see a number for Lamens there. He's not even up on the United website yet. So, but again, look, we've got 2 weeks really to decide on that, depending on whether like Binder could still go to Turkey. They're still open, or Saudi Arabia. So you never know.
Did I miss it? Did City get Donnarumma then or no?
They got him. Yeah, they got him.
26 million, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
How much? 26?
26 million pounds.
Yeah.
So 35-ish?
35-ish. Yeah. So,
Is there any other big one? I mean, then Liverpool missed out on Gahey, but
missed out on Gahey, got Isak. Harvey Elliott went to Villa.
Villa didn't do bad business outside of Sancho. They got some.
Yeah, they didn't do bad business.
And you know what? The funny thing is, I saw him in the Villa game. Is that remember the guy that I brought up, Evan Gussan, that came from Nice? Villa ended up getting him. He plays the number 10 role for them and everything.
Paul Bistau, an Antwerp club legend on Le Mans, says he's so concentrated when he plays, he's on another planet. He doesn't hear or see the outside world. Well, yeah, you're going to need that.
That's not great for your keeper if he doesn't see or hear.
Yeah. I was going to say you're going to need that at Old Trafford with all of the fucking criticism.
So what did they end up? What was the final number on Isak? I missed it. Was it 130?
125 million.
Yeah, 125 plus add-ons.
And Whistle went to Newcastle, right?
Yeah, Whistle went to Newcastle. That's right. Yeah.
So Brentford's got nothing left.
Brentford are going down. I have a feeling.
Keith Andrews will work his Irish charm, his Irish magic, and
I hope so. I hope I'm wrong. I would rather see fucking Liverpool go down or something. But anyway, did you see my little TikTok today? So the 2012, 2013 season, 25, 26 season. First game, we lose. Yeah. Second game, we play Fulham. Third game, we win 3-2. 2012, 2013, we won the league. So that's all I'm saying, right? That's all I'm saying.
That's a tough one there, but
that's all I'm saying. Right, we're going to leave it on that positive note. Boys, I appreciate you coming on as always, and I'll chat to you throughout the week. All right?
Yes, sir.
Legends. Appreciate
it.
Thanks
pod next week, is it?
Sorry?
No pod next week, so there's no ball.
I'll leave it up to you. We'll see what if there's something to talk about, we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? We'll play about it. Right, boys. Talk to you. Thanks everybody for watching as well, guys. I do appreciate it. As always, smash a like on the video on your way out if you haven't done so. Please do subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Like I said, the subscriber count is flying up lately, and we're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll be back later on in the week with some Manchester United news as always. And I'll see you then. Take it easy. Good luck.